Hi, welcome. Today's video is going to be about SAP Master Data Quality Management. With the new S4 HANA 1809 version, SAP has launched its approach to tackle passive data governance by introducing SAP Master Data Quality Evaluation for products. Once you log into Fury, you have a bunch of pre-delivered SAP standard applications available that handle your end-to-end master data quality evaluation process for products. Your managed data quality rules is a rule repository where you create and define rules that are supposed to point out bad data in the system. Managed data quality evaluation for products is where you schedule or start an evaluation process. And here is where all your rules that you have created in managed data quality rules get executed for the data. The next bunch of tiles are for the purpose of evaluation and analytics, where they give you the output and the outcomes of the rules once they are run for your data. Evaluation for results gives you an overview of the outcomes based on your basic data and other tables. Plant data and sales data specific outcomes and evaluations are shared and shown by these apps. Data quality evaluation overview gives you a cumulative overview of all the rules that have been executed for all tables on product. The below two tiles or applications you can see are for configuring a score. You have the possibility of designing weightage and defining a score for your master data, and that can be seen here at the end once executed. Data quality score for products. Now I'm going to be walking you through to an end-to-end process of evaluation for products. So before I jump into that, the whole point of creating rules and defining rules is that rules are supposed to point out bad data for me in the system. And I'll just show you that in the system, and this is the two use cases that I'm going to be presenting today. This is my material general data table MARA. I have a bunch of material records that do not have material group assigned to them. Only one of them has. So I'm going to be defining and writing a rule that points out to me that all the materials in this table that have material type FERT and do not have a material group are bad data records for me. Another use case which I'm going to be presenting is I have my material description table, and I have materials that have been maintained in English language if the language field is EN, but even despite of that they have Chinese as text in the material description. So let's go to our Fury launch page, where I have clicked on the manage data quality rules, and you click on the plus button to create a new rule. Since I have already gone ahead and created the rules for those two business use cases. I will show them to you. So the first rule I have created for material group must be filled. And if you can see, it gives me a detailed description, and the things that you have to fill in are your name, and you can fill in a lot of other information. And if you can see, this is the two main expressions. These are BRF plus expressions or checks that the system creates for me, and then I have the option of editing them and modeling them on my requirement. So the two options are for scope and condition. So what this does is the scope defines what and how many records my rule has to run for, and my condition is what my rule's intention is, what its end game is to find out what kind of data. So if you can see, I'll just click on the scope. I just want my material rule to run for materials that are finished goods. So I have given an expression. If the material type is FERT, then please proceed. So this defines the scope. It does not take into consideration other material types. And then once I have material types that are finished goods, I want to check that they have material group assigned to them. So I am just given a BRF plus expression that checks if material group is not initial, then this should be reported to me. In a similar way, I have designed another rule which will point out to me all the Chinese languages in material description. So let's just go ahead and start that evaluation process. So once I'm done with them, I click on activate and send for implementation. And once you have your rules in place, you go back to your home screen for Fury, and then you start an evaluation process. So you go to manage data quality evaluation, you create a process, you have the option of scheduling as well. You start the process, you give in your description, and you click on save. And what this does is you just click on start, and what this does, it basically takes those two rules that you have created and runs them by the entire data set that you have in your system. So this will take a while depending on the records that you have in your database. That's why the scope rule comes in. You don't want the rule for running for your entire data. You've sorted out it and you've seen that it runs for only material type PERT. So that's where the scope comes in. So once this evaluation is completed, it gives you a brief overview. This is not the evaluation results page. This is just of the evaluation process, that it has processed these many records from these two tables, basic data and material description. We have dedicated apps for evaluation, which I'll show you right now. So you go back to your home page. So once you've run your evaluation process, you need to select your evaluation results application, which will take you to the overview page of the outcomes. And as you can see here, it gives me a detailed description using graphs and bars that how many records are bad, and of these bad records, how many have product type as finished products or semi-finished, and their cross-plant product is not, there's no status maintained. You have the option of selecting the fields that you want to show data about. So basically telling a story about what the bad data have in common. And you have the option of selecting the base table also on which you have run your rules. And here's the cool part of remediation. So as you can see, the list below is of all the bad data that has come out of those rules. And now you have the option of remediating these records. So if I just click on or hover over this material number, I have the two options here, change material and change material governance. So once I click on change material, what that does is it launches a normal change process in my S4 system. If you can see, this is my MM02 screen, and this is, if I don't have MDG set up, I can go ahead and change my material and rectify it like this. In another case, I have my governance process set up, I'm using MDG, and I want to launch a change request process, then I can do that too. So if I click on this, and this leads me to my change request screen, where MDG screen, where I can now initiate a change process to rectify my material. If there's a lot of records, I just select on this button, and it selects all the records that are bad data, and I can start a mass change process as well. So I go back. You also have the option of configuring your score for your master data. So you click on configuring score calculation, and I've already created some scores, so I'll just show you that. So this I've created. The best part here is you can use your rules that you've created for your score calculation as well. So you create a score, you give it some dimension like correctness, robustness, or completeness, and then you fill in your weightage of what targets you set and what is the warning and critical. And here is where you have assigned your rule that you've created before, and then that rule runs and calculates a score for you as well. If you can see on your screen here, there's a dedicated app for score evaluation as well, and I'm just going to take you through that app. This is your data quality score for products, and this keeps refreshing, and you can have a bunch of rules that calculate score for various base tables. And I click on that, and it gives me the output, and I have the option of drilling down to select score by rule, which will then again take me to the evaluation page. It takes you back to the evaluation page where it gives you more details about the bad data. That was it for data quality management. Thank you.